I'm Jim Misner. This is Pitching the Tent. Con is staring through low smoke that's hanging in the redwoods. He's gotten the grill off to scrape and would have been whistling, but instead is eavesdropping the neighboring site. If I was going to hit that, he thinks, I'd start with my head in her lap. Syl calls from their camper if he's packed her Chardonnay. He has, but his sharp retort signals he's otherwise involved. She peeks out to see new neighbors settling in and agrees it's about hot enough for the gal Conrad's ogling to be wearing as little as she is. So where is it, Conrad? What? My white, she says, with the food. No, it's not. Con smiles as the woman traipses past with provisions. She hellos back, Con enjoying the rear view, wondering if she can feel his gaze. Syl squawks into his mood. Not with the food, not in the cooler. Stowed it with the puzzles, Con fires back, thinking, you know I'm busy here. When Janie brings the last of the gear over, Peters has their tent up. She thinks he looks prouder than he ought to, but recalls he's finished most of their half-quarts the ride up. Then she considers where she might have to squat middle of the night, the ladies being a friggin' block away. Janie sees the older guy again next sight, gives him a chin up. How they hangin', she about says, but goes with, warm enough for ya? Great day, hey? Con replies, smirking, thinking she's friendly enough. It's then Con feels Syl over his shoulder, getting her nose in. It won't be until Syl's hammered later that evening she'll decide this Janie's a mouthy little skank. But by then, Syl will have to clench her jaw to see straight and will retire. And it won't be long after that, Con nursing his scotch by the fire, that Janie's soft moans of pleasure begin from the tent. Con thinking he ought to clear his throat or something, close quarters and all, but just sits there conflicted. A few minutes later, Peters is out of the tent, stretches his rangy frame, cracks a beer and sees Con drinking alone. He grins and says, howdy neighbor, just call me Peters. Janie scampers off from the tent a ways, then joins the men at the fire pit, wearing only a long shirt. Con could drink with them till daylight, way she's showing it off, and as long as Peters is telling his stories, he doesn't seem to care. Janie gets a little pissy as the whiskey kicks in, and the camp night deepens. When things have gone far enough, Peters turns some sudden corner and whirls into Janie, gets her down and puts a couple of loud taps on her. And even though, Janie still purrs vitriol. Con suddenly jumps out and tackles into both of them, thinking he could use a club. In the scrum, somebody grabs his crotch. Con hoping it's Janie, but then he hears Syl yell out his full Christian name. From the top of the step of the camper, in the silent pause, Syl breaches a shell into her duck gun, getting the wrestler's attention and snarls, don't make me come down there.